This is how to install the Metapixel inside of GoHighLevel. Let's get right into it. Alright, so here we are inside of my GoHighLevel account. GoHighLevel being one of the most popular and probably the fastest growing platform out there for web-based businesses and creating funnels. So here we are on one of the funnels that I have created. There are multiple ways to do this. Now, one of the most common ways to install the Pixel on GoHighLevel is by going over to settings and then inputting your code right here under the head tracking code area. However, I don't actually recommend that you do it that way simply because it will then make it very difficult, if not impossible, for you to be able to track individual events that happen in the different steps of your funnel, such as lead, initiate checkout, purchase, so on and so forth. Again, very common way of doing it there, but I don't recommend doing that. I recommend, for the greatest amount of control, to do everything at the page level. Yes, it's more time consuming. Yes, it's more tedious, but at the end of the day, clean, good tracking is everything when it comes to advertising. So taking the extra time to do this correctly is definitely worth the time investment. So in order to do that, do it at the page level, go to the page specifically. So this is our landing page right here. We're just doing a simple two-step funnel right here. Obviously, if you have a multiple step funnel, it's going to be a little bit different, but just the principles are going to be the same. Here on our landing page, we're going to go ahead and click on the tracking code section right here. And we want to make sure we are in the header. We do not want to be putting this in the footers. We have a header selected there. It is the default, but it's always good to just double check and make sure that the header section is selected. Now I'm going to grab my pixel over here in a different screen, and I'm just going to simply paste it right there. Click save, and then I'm going to hit publish right there. Okay, great. So now I'm going to go back and I am going to go to the second page. This is a simple webinar funnel, evergreen webinar funnel. So there's only two steps, and then we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on edit for what is ultimately the thank you page. Anyone who makes it to the thank you page is going to be counted as a lead. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to copy this, and it's the same code, but the difference is now I have the lead event installed right there. It goes after the page view event. So your standard pixel is going to look like this. But when you add the lead event after the page view event, that's what it looks like. Now you might be asking, where did you get that lead event from? Really simple. You just have to go to Google, type in Facebook standard events, and then it's going to be the very first link that you see right there. So you go ahead and click on that. And then it's going to pop open all of Facebook's standard events. So like I said, if you are doing a multiple step funnel where there are different types of events that you want to be tracking, then here they are, right? You have add payment info, add to cart, complete registration, customize product, find location, initiate checkout, purchase, also with the currency value that you can go ahead and input right there. And then all the other ones that are utilized right here. And then if you ever forget where the actual event goes, they do provide a very handy dandy example here. It just always goes after the page view event. So the blue part is your standard pixel, and then the green part is the event that you can go ahead and add. So that is what I've done here. I click save, click publish. All right, and there we go. So before we actually run any ads, it's always advisable to test everything. So even though we have set this up correctly, we do want to make sure that the events are firing as expected. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up in a window, and with my Pixel helper, we're going to make sure that this is firing as expected. So I have, oh, here we go. Actually, I already have an error right here where the lead event is firing on the landing page, which I do not want to happen. So there is something else going on, which actually I believe I know what is going on here. And actually, no, never mind. I thought I maybe had my Google Tag Manager in here, but I do not. So did I accidentally add the wrong code to the wrong page? I may have done just that. So this is why you always want to test, right? Even though I was extremely confident that I had done it correctly. Okay, actually no, page view, that is correct right there. Is there something in my footer? No, nothing there. Let me make sure I put in the correct one here. Yep, that is the correct one. Nothing in my footer. So, you know what? It might be a cookies issue because I have been on this page before where I remember how I installed it incorrectly with Google Tag Manager. And so it just might be remembering it wrong. So because of that, I'm going to open this up in a different browser where I also have the Pixel Helper. It's a different instance of Chrome. I don't believe I tested it on here, so this might give us clean. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it was a cookies issue. So before I recorded this video, I did have it installed incorrectly through Google Tag Manager, and I guess my previous browser was still kind of remembering it that way. So if you do run into that issue, then you can just make sure you test it in a different browser or clear your cookies and then retest it, because sometimes it'll save your cookies from any previous errors, and it'll fire incorrectly. Whilst the free training, do test and test at test.com. Make it to the thank you page, lead, page view, submit application. I actually don't know why that is showing up right there, but you know what? It's perfectly fine. It's a conversion event on my conversion page, and I'm going to be optimizing for the lead event, and that is firing correctly, and my page view. So that's really all that matters. If it wants to collect the submit application in the background, that's not going to affect my optimizations in any way, shape, or form. So there you have it. That is how you install the Metapixel inside of GoHighLevel. Okay, great. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. By the way, if you are looking to have your ads professionally managed, you're in luck, because we are currently accepting new clients. I have a link below, and in there, when you go in there, you'll be able to see what type of business you are. If you're a brand new business, or maybe you've been around for a while, but your budget is a little bit low, we have a package specifically for you. Or if you're a more established business, you're spending tens of thousands of dollars per month, then we also have a separate package for you. So depending on where you land, just click on the right one. We'll hop on a Zoom call. We'll talk about how it works, whether or not we're a good fit, and based upon that, then we'll go ahead and move forward. Like I said, that is for you in the link below. If you have any questions about this setup, and by the way, this setup that I just did on GoHighLevel, it can be done in a couple of other different platforms in exactly the same way. So for example, ClickFunnels is going to be the exact same way. Lead Pages, to an extent, is going to be the exact same way. So you can kind of take this philosophy of how I just installed it here and apply it to other platforms as well. But like I said, always open to any questions and feedback. Just let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.